shot in the back 4 times, saving 2 lives. Saving 2 lives. Shot in the back 4 times. Say his name. No gun residue, no gun oil, no drugs or alcohol in the system. D.A. Avery Crump, Howard, D.A. Avery Crump. Out of North Carolina, D.A. Avery Howard Crump did not find justice for his family. Say his name. Say his name. George murderer Michael Shane Hill. When do we want it? If we don't get it. Say his name. Fred should not be dead. What do we want? When do we want it? If we don't get it. Who street? Who keep us safe? We keep us safe. No good cop in a racist system. 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 Say his name. Say his name. Matter. Black voters 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 matter.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello, hello. Good morning, brothers, sisters, and siblings. How y'all feeling? Y'all good, everybody? I said, how y'all feeling, everybody? Thank y'all so much. And we are excited to be here marching and holding space with our community and marching for voting rights for our people. Don't that sound right? I just want to really start and say, I just want to thank the Sharpton family. Thank you to the NAN organization and the community for sharing space with us today. It means a lot and it is important. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black trans. Black trans. Black queer. Black queer. Black non-binary. Black non-binary. Black non-binary. We are here. My people, we are here. We are here because it is time. It is time for us to continue fighting. It is time for us more than ever to show up for our rights, to show up in the way that our ancestors have shown up for us, in the way that they've galvanized after us, in the way that we are now having to catch and to pass the torch on. Because in this present moment, we are fighting up against white supremacy. We are fighting up against a system that does not want us to win. But we shall win. We are claiming victory for Black liberation. All right. I will not accept defeat, so I'ma stay out in the street. I've been fighting for my life, marching for voting rights. Rain, shine, or snow, until the people take control. Until the people take control. Until the people take control. We must take control, family. We must take our power. Because united, we are stronger. We must fight each and every day for liberation. When we wake up, we say we will fight, we will provide, we will create. Because we know that the enemy will not do it for us. We have to come together right now and show up, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us. In particular for Black trans people. In particular for Black trans women. We are in a state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency.
I waited a long time to vote. I waited a long time. I was 64 and a half, and then when I turned 18, I couldn't wait to vote. And now they're trying to stop my vote.
From Ohio?
Yes.
Well, what has been voting the last couple of decades like there?
It was heavy. I mean, it could do better. And I'm a precinct committee person now. I got voted in as a precinct committee person, and I get a lot of people out to vote now.
Do you hear of a lot of people having problems, long lines, and that sort of thing in Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're trying to stop us from getting water from the people. You know, they bring us water and donuts. They don't even want us to get no water and donuts no more.
What do you think about the new wave of restrictions that Ohio, Georgia especially, Texas just is passing? What do you think about them?
It's not good. It's not good.
Do you think that it's going to stop? Because I mean, we had overwhelming. They're taking away a lot of the absentee voting, a lot of the all the things that made it easier to vote.
That's not good.
What do you think 2022 is going to look like?
It better. That's why we're here today, so it can look better.
Yeah.
That's why we're here today, so it can look much, much better.
To King III multiple times about the fact that we have to keep doing this. Do you find it ridiculous?
I think they should get it by now, but they don't get it. But we ain't gonna stop. We supposed to vote, and we're gonna vote. And they don't get it.
Cool.
We'll be back the next year if we have to.
That sickness will not be unto death, but it will be to God's glory. That's His word.
I tell you what, I'm from Texas, and what they did in Texas at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning was shameful. It was shameful because in Texas they're trying to deny people, and they call it voter integrity. It's a lie.
To me, it's ridiculous, and it just makes me so angry. Because why? Because of a big lie. And now they want to suppress our vote when so many of our people died and bled to get the right to vote. And then the Supreme Court dismantled so many of the voting rights, and now they want to stop us, period. And I know that John Lewis is turning over in his grave right now with what's going on. And like I said before, Mark Meadows was supposed to have been a great friend of John Lewis, but yet he would not allow his Republican buddies to vote for that bill. And it just doesn't make sense.
What do you hope? Are you hopeful for 2022 that we're going to be able to fight back against the massive suppression, especially in states like Georgia, where Reverend Warnock is running again?
We're not going to stop fighting, and we're not going to give up, because we're going to continue to fight this battle. And what we can't fight, we're going to pray.
Just tell me your first names and where you're from.
My name is Kathy, and I'm from Poolesville, Maryland, a representative of the Unitarian Universalists.
And I'm John Laughlin, and I live in Germantown, and I also am from, represent SCUU, the same church.
And what brings you out here today?
I think that the current state of laws that prevent people from voting is just outlandish. I'm here to use my voice to suggest that we make it easier to vote and not harder.
I'm here for the same thing.
It's always hard to follow up. What do you find it like the fact that we had massive opening of voting rights and that sort of voting accessibility, at least in the last election, and now basically all the states that kind of mattered have been quickly turning around: Texas, Georgia, Ohio. What is your hopes, I guess, for 2022? Not who wins, who loses, but actually people being able to vote.
I think it's important that on a federal level, laws be passed to protect people's right to vote. The state-by-state laws are discriminatory, in my opinion.
Voting rights are a foundation to the rest of our democracy. And right now we have a fissure going through the block called voting rights. It should be treated more like a right rather than a privilege. And I think we're going back before 1965 right now.
Just, I always say speak up because noise. So why, jobs, care, justice, why are you out here today?
We're here because health care really matters. Home health care, all jobs really matter. All jobs are essential at this point in time. But home health care really matters because once you get older or sick or something like that, you really need someone to tend to you and help you out. So yeah, you need home health care. It's very, very important.
So who are you with?
We're with SEIU.
Okay. Why is a union out here at a voting rights rally?
Because they're trying to take away our voting rights, and we need our rights to vote because our voices matter.
Do you feel like if votes are suppressed, and particular groups are doing the voter suppression, do you feel as though that it's a kind of targeting people who are more likely to be union voters and that sort of thing?
Like minorities and all under that sort? Yes, I really do think that they're targeting them, and they're trying to suppress our voices, but we're going to make our voices heard.
Yeah.
So, so you all went from heroes, like a lot of frontline workers, to like, well, how dare you ask for 15? How dare you ask for whatever? Like, how does that feel, like, kind of across the board? That
it feels like we're very unappreciated and overlooked, but very much overworked. So therefore, like we were heroes to many, there need to be heroes to us. They need to help us because our lives matter too, So
if you can throw a football and make more money than we do taking care of your mother, it's a disgrace.
Right. Big disgrace.
I like that quote.
what? Now, the big complaint right now is nobody wants to work.
We are. But we are. We are
working.
choice. We go to work every day anyways.
I didn't get stimulus checks like everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't even know why.
Yeah.
Are you working?
Yes.
You still working?
Still working.
And you underpaid?
Underpaid,
You make
yes.
$15 an hour?
Yeah, less.
You make less than $15 an hour?
Less than 10.
You got benefits?
No.
You have no health care?
No.
If you get sick right now from COVID-19, what would happen?
I'd go to the emergency room.
And who would pay for it?
Not
The state.
me. The state.
You work in healthcare?
Yes.
And you don't have healthcare?
No.
Right.
Do you find that ironic?
How ironic.
All of us work in healthcare with no affordable.
None have health care. One lady she worked 30 years and make $9.50 an hour. Is that fair?
And I've been in it for 26 years, so.
So why don't they not recognize them as being essential workers? Why don't they pay them, protect them, and pay them? Because at the end of the day, it's sad that McDonald's workers make more money than home care workers.
That's right.
That's keeping people alive. So we can keep your family alive. You can keep your mother and father alive. Your sisters and brothers in Canada keep our own family alive.
We might even have to keep you alive. You never know.
I hope not. I want to get I keep joking. I'm like, I want to collect them all. I want to get all the vaccines because I cover voting rights, and unfortunately I cover the anti-vax movement. And so, like, how does it feel to be on the front lines all year and then have millions of Americans go, I'll take horse paste?
It doesn't feel good at all, but us having a passion for what we do, we're still going to stand up and do our job because we know that's the right thing to do, and that's what we want to do deep within our hearts, so we're going to do it regardless. But we're still going to fight hard and try to get what we are earned and what we deserve.
And I have a daughter coming up in college to be RN. I want better for her. I don't want her to not have health care because she's doing the same thing I've been doing for 20 years and I've never had health care.
Exactly.
So I want better for my kids.
Anyone else?
And why would you want to take the patients out the home and institutionalize them, like put them in a nursing home? Why? Who profits from that? The government, not us, and not the patient. The time you put them in there, they don't have no one-on-one care. They have how many? One nurse.
I was one nurse with one worker to 42 patients.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
And the patients.
I was one med tech to one aide to 42 patients.
So how much care did that patient get?
Not
Exactly.
enough. They
Not
deteriorate.
enough.
They
They never got
deteriorate
enough.
over time because
Yes,
they
they
don't
do.
get enough health care. They don't get enough attention, and then they miss that family. Then
They
you put them
suffer.
in these institutions. That kills them quicker.
Yep.
They don't want to be there. They want to be home. So why not help take care of them at home somewhere where they're comfortable and they can die at peace if that's the case? It's wrong to make them institutionalized and then take everything.
$1 billion a year.
Yeah.
We saving the government $1 billion a year, and we can't even get a seed of it. $1 billion. Nobody realizes that.
We're not asking for much. We just want recognition and be paid for what we do. Right?
Yes.
And also, all of these workers are essential workers.
Worked through the whole
They
pandemic.
worked through the pandemic. All of them deserve the hazardous
pay.
Some states got it, North Carolina didn't, and we're fighting.
And we're going to fight for our hazardous.
We gonna get hazardous pay for these workers.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get the back?
Oh yeah. So what does getting in good trouble look like?
Standing up and voting for our voter suppression, for our rights to vote. You know what I mean? To come out here and support this movement, along with the Black Lives Matter. You know, stop the police from just doing anything they want to do. Let them do the right thing. Protect the people. Protect the people.
What? Yep.
Hey, just say no to Jim Crow 2.0. I took an oath to protect the Constitution. I will protect people's right to vote. It's a right that this country cherishes. And if you can, doesn't matter if you mail it, drop it, your right to vote is your right to vote, and to suppress that is just wrong on every level. I've watched too many of my brothers perish protecting that Constitution, and we've come this far just to come this far. It needs to stop.
Now there's a lot of states that are trying to pull back those rights.
Correct.
Why are unions out here today? Like there's SEIU over there, there's a couple others. Like why is it important that you think that unions show up today in solidarity?
Well, the union basically is fair and equality for all. The purpose of the union is to protect the middle class of America and to get the rights back for everybody, equal pay, medical necessity, and all that. And it starts small. Once you start chiseling away at the Constitution and taking a little piece here and a little piece here, the next thing you know, we'll just have the 1% running this country. And I'd rather fight for freedom than live free as a slave.
Right. And we came from Florida because we got one of the worst places. I don't want to bad about the people too bad, but we got one of the worst government officials of all time. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Now he's DeSantis and Kemp. I mean, they're basically both working in tandem to stop people from voting, particularly people that look like you. Like,
Right.
how does that feel as somebody, union member, voter? Like, how does that feel?
Well, I tell you what we did. We served our country, and I'm pretty sure he did a little bit of time, I think, in the Navy or something like that. But by him being in the Navy, he should be for the people, not against the people. I mean, I know he's a politician, but like sometimes when politics get in the way of human rights, it's just not a good thing. So we're going to support every movement they have in Washington, D.C. We're going to spend our money to come here, and we just going to do what we have to do.
Well, I mean, why are we changing something that's not broke? More people came to the polls in these states that are trying to change it, and they cast their votes, and people didn't like the results. It's not about suppressing the vote. It's about the people's right to vote. We should be expanding the duration of time, making more drop boxes, making it easier to vote for the elderly, people like that. And for some reason, these states are trying to squash what they always preach: get out and vote.
Right.
But here's the rules. No, you should be able to cast your vote. One vote for every person.
Why does it seem that the same people that are trying to suppress the vote are very often trying to suppress expansion of union rights or unions in general?
Because they fear us.
Right.
They fear us. They know that we don't serve their purpose.
Right.
And there are a lot of union-friendly, senators and congressmen and governors out there that understand. Without the unions, people don't understand that the unions protect your rights not only for equality and fairness and pay, but for health care and things of that nature.
Right.
To get equal wages for everybody. More people have died in industrial accidents in 20 years than have fighting for this country. People understand that. And we're here to protect that, to make sure that you're safe and you're well paid and you're equal.
Right. And that way you don't have to have but one decent paying job versus having 3 or 4 little jobs to make ends meet. Like I said, middle class is what we always been. That's what we always are. We don't do supervising jobs. We just are the labor. You know, I've been labor ever since 1988.
Richest
In a
country on the
union.
planet,
Yeah.
and people have to work 2 jobs and can't have health care. Richest nation on the planet. I don't get it.
You mind saying your name?
John Collins, AFGE, Local 507, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Richard Beta, local AFG 507, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Can you spell your name?
Bravo, Echo, Echo, Delta, Alpha.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Paul and I are both from Boston. We're from Swing Left Greater Boston and also Indivisible. We're representing a coalition of different organizations that have come here by plane, train, and automobile. And Paula came, she said, I said, Paula, you're afraid of COVID, why are you coming? And she said, I can't not come.
So you have a pass S1. Why is Senate Bill 1 so important?
Because Senate Bill 1 is going to level the playing field. It's not a partisan bill. It's going to level the playing field and make our democracy better.
Yep. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really important, as Susan said, there's so many things that are uneven in our political system. So we need it to be more even, and I think we'd have a lot of wins if that happened.
What is it like having to, I feel like we've been here before. We've done this, we did this. I mean, I'm old enough at least to, I remember in 2000 we were doing things, in 2004. Seems like every 2 years, whatever, we're out here marching for voting rights. What do you think has to change for us to actually kind of take it seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can I be honest with you? It's because there needs to be even more people here. Voting rights affect all of us, and we need to all be here. And when there are hundreds of thousands of people in the streets, that's when we're going to see real change.
Yeah, I mean, it's existential. People think, okay, you know, Trump lost his Twitter account, he's not president anymore, and there seems like there's less of a boogeyman to go against, but now's the time that we have to really double down and do the hard work, the everyday work of making sure that we're protecting democracy.
And we do mean every day. Paul and I work on this every single day. This is not just something you do in an election year, it's something that you do year round.
What do we want? Justice! If we don't get it, burn it down! Black trans lives matter! Black trans lives matter!
All right, I just did an update, but I got my mask and I had to get away from it.
Jacob Blake, Glenda Conceal, Xavier Hill, Casey Goodson Jr., Dante Shannon, Dante Hamilton, Justice Howell, Elton Sterling, Rashawn Brooks, Joel Escobedo, Aaron Atkins, Mayor Robinson,
He said that day, I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with his vicious racists, with his governors, lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. He also said on behalf of the people that day, we can't be satisfied and we will not be satisfied. We cannot reduce our movements to single issue protests. And anybody that tries to lead you on a single issue protest is a misleader and not a leader. Our issues are as complicated as our blood system and our nervous system in our bodies. And so we're here today. We've come together from many corners to lay out a vision, demand action to address the interlocking injustices and the interlocking evils of systemic racism, systemic poverty, ecological devastation, the war economy, and the false moral narrative of Christian nationalism. So we declare and we demand that if we pass the For the People's Act and the Voting Rights Restoration Act, we could stop James Crow Esquire and Gene Crow Esquire. Laws that are designed to hurt black people and white people and brown people and native people and poor people and rural people and urban people and the working people and the disabled. We could institute elections that would be fair and full. We could make sure that everybody, every eligible voter can vote. If we pass the For the People's Act, all that they're doing in the states becomes illegal immediately. If we pass the Voting Rights Act restoration, then they have to go through pre-clearance. If we end the filibuster, we could do it all and do it all right now.
August 28, 1963, the mother of Emmett Till couldn't make it here because her mother was afraid for her. But I'm not afraid, and I'm standing for her and all of those others, those stolen lives that began before Emmett, through Emmett, and even after Emmett. So we have to stand here today. I'm standing here also to remind you that John Lewis.
Credit on the side, it ain't about none of that. This Congress works for the people, not the other way around. So tell your mother, father, grandparents, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, little kids in elementary school. We need everybody to march on this platform to move the Senate in the direction it needs to go. Me and Corey here to do it together, but we need all of y'all with us in solidarity and love. Peace and love to you all. God bless you. Let's do this! LaTosha Brown. Yes, sir. Yeah. Albright, Indiana. What's going on? When I say black voters, you say matter. Black voters. Black voters. When I say love, you say power. Love. Love. We are so excited to be here with y'all on this historic day. We are so excited. We wish we could be here though on a day where we could just commemorate and celebrate. But unfortunately today is not that day. Because we still got work to do. And so here we are in a moment, a historic moment. We are in a battle for our voting rights. In a moment where we see voter suppression sweeping all across this country. Now until 48 states, over 400 bills. In this moment, us being here and making good trouble is more important than ever. And part of our message around making good trouble has got to be about that filibuster. Come on! I'm going to say it again, about that filibuster that is blocking progress on the things that we need to advance our interests. And we got to ask the question, how long? How long? And in asking that question, we also got to answer our own question. We got to be able to say, not long. Right. How long are we going to let this filibuster block our progress on voting rights? Not long. How long are we going to let a filibuster that has been around blocking progress on civil rights acts ever since 1874? Ever since John Thurman did his talking and his walking and his standing filibuster? How long are we going to let it continue to do so? We got to ask, how long are we going to let the same filibuster that's been used for decades to block lynching legislation, anti-lynching legislation? In fact, as recently as just a year ago, to block anti-lynching legislation. How long? How long? But if we are going to truly have the answer be not long, we got to recognize something, y'all. Right now, today, obviously, we commemorated the March on Washington 63, and there's going to be a lot of folks talking about that I Have a Dream speech, and it's a powerful speech. But I got to be honest. Can I be honest with y'all today? The thing I'm thinking about is not the words that Dr. King spoke in 1963 on this day, but I'm thinking about the words that he wrote just a few months earlier in his letter from Birmingham jail. That's what's on my spirit today. Because in that letter, Dr. King told us about the importance of nonviolent direct action. He told us the lengths that we have to go if we were trying to get the rights that we deserve. He told us that we have to be willing to have a certain tension, a certain conflict, that we have to be willing to engage in certain actions that might make folks feel uncomfortable. But you can't have the harvest without the rain. We got to be willing to have that creative tension, a loving tension, because it is out of that tension that we create motion. And that is what we need right now. We've got to be willing to hit the streets. We've got to be willing. You just heard from a couple of folks, a couple of members of the Congressional Black Caucus. We've had 4 members of that caucus get arrested with us out in these streets over the past 4 or 5 weeks. And guess what? We need that and a lot more. We need everybody who's out here today to commit to civil disobedience. We have got to commit to being ungovernable. Because they are trying to take us back to a period where we had no rights. And so we have got to commit in every city that's represented out here, from East Coast to West Coast, from North to South, from city to rural area. We have got to be willing to hit the streets, to lock arms, to go in front of Senate offices and in front of congressional offices. We have got to be willing to put our bodies at risk. We have got to be willing to go to jail if us. We have got to be willing to do what our friends at Until Freedom did a couple of weeks ago when they blocked the streets at the D.C. airport. We have got to send a message that we will not be governable until they give us the voting rights that we demand. They don't have the power. We got the power. The only question is, are we willing to use it? And so there may come a day when the answer to that question is no, Cliff. I'm not willing to use that power. I'd rather just sit in the corner and complain about it. That day may come, but guess what?
Gonna let
Keeping your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. Well, the last thing I did wrong, I stayed in the wilderness a day too long. Keeping your eyes on the prize and hold on. Today is not that day. There may come a day when we decide that we are more concerned about the comfort of just being, about the comfort of letting somebody else engage in civil disobedience and not stepping up and demanding our human rights. That day may come, but guess what? Today is not that day. There may come a day when we turn our backs on the history that was made right here in this sacred space by so many people that missed so much. There may come a day where we disrespect that and we say, no, we're okay with being taken back to slavery. That day may come, but guess what? Today is not that day. So I need everybody here who believes in freedom, everybody here who believes that you got a role to play in ending the filibuster, in civil disobedience, in being ungovernable. If you believe that you got a role to play, I need you to put a fist up and say real loud, say, I am an organizer. Say, I am an organizer. Once more, say, I am an organizer. Now let's leave here and get it done, y'all. I love y'all. Well, the first thing I did right was the day I started to fight. Keeping your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. Well, the last thing I did wrong, I stayed in the wilderness a day too long. Keeping your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on, hold on. Keeping your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. You know, I wanted today, even as I've been thinking, I'm going to be honest with y'all. My soul is grieving right now. That normally when I get up here, I'm ready to fire it up, because I'm a fighter, y'all. I know how to fight. I know how to get in the streets and fight. Even when I think about this nation, we know how to fight, right? We know how to stand in the streets and to protest. We know how to fight abroad. We know how to fight domestically. But what's in my spirit right now is, do we know how to love? Can we love America? Can we teach this nation to love? My soul is grieving in this moment right now
what America looked like without racism. My question to you is, what would this nation look like if we actually have the value of a love for humanity? How will we treat our poor? How will we treat those that are on the margins of society? How will we treat those that are suffering? How will we treat each other? So brothers and sisters, yes, I want to have a message so bad to tell you, let's fight. We got to fight. We got to fight for our right to vote. We got to fight for these issues. But what's in my spirit today is to remind you and to ask you the question, can you fight? But also, can you love? Can you love each other? Can we love enough that where we can radically reimagine every single system in this country so that we can create a system that is really rooted in justice and fairness and equality for all of us? So I started that song, Freedom, because y'all, we still fighting for this. Here we are in 2021. And our people are being attacked right now. Hundreds of thousands of people in Georgia have been dropped from the voting rolls because they participated in an election. We got millions of people that have been locked away and have become a whole industry where folks are literally still making money off our bodies. So I say that to you. Yeah, this ain't just a moment for us to say how we gonna protest. This is the moment for us to really think about how we're going to transform this nation. And the transformation starts with us. When we decide that all human beings deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, all these governments, they will fall. We will have a government that is representative to all of us. That's right. The Republicans ain't something we ain't seen before. When we get in alignment, when we come together against our differences, y'all, but rooted in this idea of love, we will be able to transform and change the world. So I leave you with something that Dr. King said, that oftentimes we use as a word that we do in Black Folks. And if you don't remember anything else I've said, power without love is reckless and abusive. That's right. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Y'all, we got work to do. If you love your community, say I do. If you love justice, say I do. If you love the idea that we can create a stronger and a better America, say I will. When I say love, you say power and love. Love. When I say power, you say love. Power. Power. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Be blessed.
Our partners, President of AFC, Randy Weingarten. Give him a round of applause.
I second everything that LaTosha just said. I want to say one thing. 58 years ago, on these stairs, we couldn't imagine that we would actually get voting rights. But we did. And ever since then, people have tried to take them away. And people have tried to take so many other rights away. Are you ready to make them trouble? Are you ready to make sure that freedom rings in this country for everyone? Are you ready to do, because I am a school teacher, what Amanda Gordon so beautifully said at the inauguration, that this country may not be a perfect union, but is a union with purpose.
DC, you say state hood. DC. DC. I bring you greatness from the, I'm sorry, I bring you greetings from the great state of Texas. From ground zero of voter suppression. From ground zero for systemic racism and mass incarceration. From the home of Tatiana Jefferson. Say her name, Tatiana Jefferson. Murdered in her home playing video games in Fort Worth with her nephew. From the home of George Floyd, say his name, George Floyd. From the home of Botham John, say his name, Botham John. Darius Tarver. Marvin Scott III. Patrick Warren Sr. Michael Dean. Margarita Brooks. Jordan Edwards. Those are the Texans, but while I'm up here, I want to bring you up from my home state of California, say Sean Monterosa. And say with me enthusiastically, Freeway! Freeway! For too long in Texas, leadership has acted outside of the law, as if the Constitution of the United States does not apply in Texas. We come to Washington, D.C. to stand with families and activists and organizers and you, the people. I'm going to let you in on the secret. Joe Biden is not going to be the president to end mass incarceration. Joe Biden will not be the president to end the war on drugs. But we will. Say it after me. But we will. As we stand before this Lincoln Monument, I said this last year, I'm going to remind you again this year. It was not President Lincoln who freed the slaves. We freed the slaves. We free ourselves when we fight for ourselves. We organize. We built the abolitionist movement. We built an underground railroad. And it was our action, our activism, our organizing that freed the slaves, and that's how we see ourselves out of this period of mass incarceration, of this so-called war on drugs that really equates to a war on black and brown communities. We organize ourselves out of it. We're not waiting for President Joe Biden to save us. He is who we choose to fight. We stand here before the Lincoln Memorial appreciating what the power system allows us to do, but we know power concedes nothing without a demand. Just like our ancestors fight, we will continue to fight to bring an end to the era of mass incarceration. We will bring justice for Breonna. We will bring justice for Tatiana, for Jamel Roberson, and so many more. We will end the war on drugs and achieve reparations through our fight. I'm starting by running for the Texas Attorney General, and I need your help. I want you all, and I'll end with this because I want you to hear from these powerful voices behind you. But let them know that we're coming for them. I believe that we will win. Say it with me. I believe that we will win. 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 Last reminder. This is what I say when I wrap up all the time. Remember, turn to your neighbor and say, how do we win? It's on us. Thank you.
Who said making trouble was a bad thing? It feels real good to be out here making trouble. Make good trouble. And on behalf of the Karen National Bar Association President Carlos Moore, I bring you greetings from the National Bar Association. Today we are here to put our elected leaders on notice that we will continue to cause good trouble. So long as you do not pass legislation protecting our voting rights. So long as you continue to use the names of Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, George Floyd, Xavier Hill as hashtags, as taglines in your political campaigns, but not doing anything once you are elected to make long-term change. To reimagine public safety. To continue to make good trouble. Today and every day, I stand proudly with these organizations that are here to hold our elected leaders accountable and to cause troublemakers. So we're going to continue to raise and fight to raise the minimum wage, reimagine policing and public safety in America, ending mass incarceration. And again, what we're really here for is about voting. If voting was not that important, they wouldn't be working so hard to strip us of our voting rights. So we have to show them that regardless of what they do, we're going to continue to fight to make them follow the law, to make them fight to make sure black and brown people are not stripped of their voting rights.
way to the devil.
To our sister cousins of George Floyd, Sharita McGee, Tidra McGee, and Tara Brown, these fabulous ladies that are on the front lines for their cousin, and not just for their cousins, but they out here for Brianna's family and everybody's family. I need y'all to show some love to Michelle and Ashley Monterosa, who are the sisters of Sean Monterosa. They have been on the front lines, not only fighting for their brother, but fighting for all families impacted by police violence. So I need you to show these sisters some love. And I need y'all to give a minute to hear from LaTosha Benton, who's the mother of Xavier Hill, who was killed in this area by the Virginia State Police. And so please give them that moment to share some words with you. And I also want to acknowledge Auntie Advocate, because it's a family affair, unfortunately, to fight for your family members. So please give it up to LaTosha Snow.
Hey you guys, I am LaTosha Benson, the mother of Xavier Hill. Xavier was killed on January the 9th, 2021 at the age of 18 years old. Xavier was my only child, the only child that I had. So this fight is something, like this year is something new to me. If you know from this, we appreciate the support, and we appreciate the guys who are giving us a fight for justice. We ask you guys to continue to come out, support our families, in the fight for justice. Please don't forget our son's name. His name was Xavier Hill. He was 18 years old when he shot my son. September 20th, we're going to court behind my son. Please continue to share the hashtag for Xavier Hill. Thank you guys.
Justice for Xavier! Justice for Xavier! Justice for Xavier!
Let's hear it for these families and what they're dealing with, what they're suffering through. As I said earlier, on this day in 1955, Emmett Till lost his life. This is a sacred day. And this is a sacred place we come to remember these lives that we have lost. August 28, 1963, Dr. King talked about police violence also. He didn't just say, I have a dream. He talked about police violence that was taking place right here. He said it from this very space. So this is a struggle that has not stopped. It's gone on too long. Something must be done about it. We want to welcome now their section of the program from the Transformative Justice Coalition, Attorney Barbara Arnwine, and Chairman of the Board, Dale Jones. I think Barbara's going to let him speak too. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning, D.C. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Jones. I am the co-leader of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and we're so excited to be here today on this 58th anniversary of the March on Washington. You know, 58 years ago, Dr. King spoke of a debt that was paid with the check marked insufficient funds. Today, across America, there's a voting right debt that is being fulfilled and had been fulfilled by the Voting Rights Act of 1965. However, with the recent actions from the U.S. Supreme Court, There have been Fisher voter legislation that has been introduced that has now bankrupted what is supposed to be the right of every American to be able to cast a meaningful vote. Folks, the Transformative Justice Coalition said no, we're not having it. Today, across this moment, we have brought buses in from all over America. We have them from Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Annapolis, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and boy, you can't be afraid unless you got New York City here. We mean business. We mean business. We mean business. Ladies and gentlemen, TJC doesn't just talk. We encourage you to go to the votingrightsalliance.org. Sign up for the Voting Rights Institute Good Trouble Voting Rights Institute. We're going to get in good trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce a person that we refer to simply as the Queen Mother of election protection. She is America's voting rights champion. If you think you're hot here in D.C. tonight, right now, you haven't felt any heat until Barbara Arnwine gets on you across this country about the vicious voter suppression. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Arnwine.
Good afternoon, everybody! We didn't come here to play. We came here because we want real justice. All across this nation, we are demanding our voting rights. We want to say to that sorry Senate, how dare you be on recess? How dare you talk about you're weary? We're weary of all this voter suppression. Do your job. Shame on you. I want everybody to know that throughout the nation, people are rising up. People are saying that we want a new nation. We demand a multi-racial democracy. We demand the For the People Act. We demand the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We demand D.C. And what we want to say to everybody, in 1963, when you looked at those speakers, there was something missing. It was called Black Women Speaking. It's a new day, it's a new moment. We will not be silenced. We demand equal voice and power. Because Black women, oh yes, all of our sisters of all races, we come together to say a new nation must be born. We will not tolerate this status quo where people suffer from poverty, from evictions, from hunger. You know we can't have it. And Daryl, remember that half of these evil voter suppression laws were passed because of you. All the work you did in 2020. The victory you made possible. So in this moment, I want to say that the Transformative Justice Coalition will be there for you. We'll be all across the country. We're going to do this work. We're never going to stop. Now, I'm so happy to announce that tonight we're inviting people to join us at the Marriott Marquis for a wonderful dinner where we will talk about where do we go from here. Because it's not one day, it's about every day of work. Every time we bring ourselves forward. And that's why I'm so happy to be joined by all of these great leaders from around the country, but also by our young people. for a purpose. We are on Lincoln Memorial for a purpose. I am so happy to be here. Right now, I am a senior at the Howard University. I am representing the LIVE movement, an HBCU coalition that's standing and fighting for racial and educational equity here in America. Can we give it up for Black education? There are so many that do not see Black education as a fight worth fighting for, but I am here to tell everybody that that is something that we need to be focused on, 110%. Our shackles right now is student loan debt. We need that gone. We need student loan debt gone. Student loan debt has been a shackle. Another shackle is our Black and brown students being forced in history classes to learn whitewashed textbooks and not seeing themselves in them. Our shackles are them reading those textbooks and only knowing their ancestors as property coming into America on the transatlantic slave trade. They need to know that we come from dynasty. They need to know that we are kings. They need to know that we are queens. And what does that mean? We need to fight for education. And we need to fight for it adamantly. The time is now. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? Who else will do it but us? We see what they're doing in Texas. They are trying to strip the curriculum. We need to have an African-American, African diaspora curriculum as a requirement in high school for them to graduate. They're going to try to strip our culture from us. They're going to try to strip our heritage, and we have to make sure we tell them enough is enough. We are going to fight for our history. So if you guys can join us tomorrow at Banneker at 1 o'clock for the HBCU March of the Generation. We are going to be in coalition with Transformative Justice as well as other organizations coming out. We have a bus coming in from Georgia. I got any Spelman, Morehouse, Clark? Anybody? And just for a reminder for those who don't acknowledge HBCUs, we are just as, if not more, legitimate than PWIs. And I will say that proudly. So don't come from my institution. And please, I ask the students, I ask the parents, and I ask the generations that came before me, have faith in us. I'm representing Generation Z. Please have faith in us and what we're doing. We are going to try as much as we can, and we are going to fight until we get to the finish line, but we need y'all support. I will see y'all tomorrow, 1 o'clock at Banneker. If we don't get no justice, we don't get no peace. Period.
That's right.
This is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in and stay in this life. This is what revolution looks like. Get in and stay in this life. You gotta find a way to get your way.
One organization that was here, before we bring out the Congresswoman, one organization that was here in 1963 to come forward was the NAACP.
No provision. The filibuster cannot block voting rights. The filibuster cannot block H.R. 40. We must relieve ourselves of the filibuster. We must roll it off and vote for voting rights. H.R. 40, George Floyd, because we must carry on, and the filibuster is not constitutional.
Congresswoman Shelia, give a round of applause.